my name is Fabi and today I'm going to tell you about the week I spent in Galicia and Porto just before finally moving to Barcelona. On August 23rd, 2016, my mom and I gathered all of my things, I said goodbye to my bedroom, and headed off to the airport. On my way to the airport, there was an explosion. Don't think that I was driving to the airport and it exploded, but there had been an explosion at a power plant, so there was smoke, and we were like, shit, that's near where the airport is. Am I gonna be able to get on the flight? There was traffic. Let's just say anxiety is a theme throughout this trip. Luckily, because my dad flies a lot because of his work, he has a bunch of miles and he was able to use that to upgrade us to business in the plane. So there's first class, then there's business, and then there's tourist. And we got business and it was the most comfortable flight I'd ever been on. There were pillows and blankets and fancy food, and I got to watch Civil War, and I slept. I've noticed that I don't know why people would want certain things until I experience them, and I'm down still to fuck. I'm gonna be using Ryanair to travel all over Europe, but I don't mind business. It was so nice. It was good. So 9.5 hours later, we landed in Barcelona. I had, well, you saw it on the clip. I had 3 suitcases, my back in a box, and my backpack and my mom's carry-on. So we left most of that stuff at my cousin's house here in Barcelona before taking another 1.5-hour flight to my other cousin's house in Vigo. So we got to Vigo and I really loved the weather as soon as we landed. Because I know Spain is hot in the summer, I had packed mostly shorts. And I knew Vigo was kind of rainy, kind of cold, but I didn't think summer was gonna be that way. But turns out I got lucky that I packed a pair of jeans because it wasn't cold, but it wasn't shorts weather. So the next day we're like, you know what, we got this. We're gonna go to Porto, we're gonna, start traveling. We're not gonna waste any time. We have a week here. There's a lot of things to see. But then you forget that jet lag is a thing and you don't fall asleep till 5 in the morning and you were planning to wake up at 7. So we were like, nah, let's just stay here. So that first day we spent it in Vigo walking around. It was really nice, it was really pretty. There's a lot of really nice architecture. I love those sort of old, I guess, Gothic-ish buildings, which is part of the reason why I love Barcelona. Everything is Gothic, everything here. It doesn't help that I'm wearing a black shirt. We had some food and we decided to go to a pier and we sort of watched the sunset there. And it was all really pretty and magical. We did some minor shopping and whatever. I realized that clothing is really cheap here. Everything is Forever 21 prices while having way better quality than Forever 21. So then the next day we still didn't sleep a lot. We were still jet lagged, but we did it anyway. We took the car and we drove down to Porto, which is about a 2-hour drive from Vigo. So we went over there, and when we got there, we were hungry. And we stopped at a bakery, which, don't think bakeries in the US. Bakeries in the US are very sort of pastry and sweet sort of food based. Here in Europe, especially in Portugal and Spain, bakeries are bread. And you get bread and you get baguettes and the bread rolls and all that stuff. But they also have pan dulce, which is something that I had in Venezuela when I was little. It was my favorite type of sweet to have, and I hadn't had it in years. And I didn't know where I could find it. I didn't know where it was originally from. I thought it might have been a Venezuelan thing. Turns out it's a Portuguese thing. You know where there's a lot of Portuguese people? In Porto, because it's in Portugal. So we went into this bakery and it was sitting there and I looked at it and I was like, I have to have some, now. I can't not have some. So I had pan dulce for the first time in 8 years. I was so happy, oh my God. So after that we walked around a little bit. We saw this cafe where J.K. Rowling supposedly started writing Harry Potter. It was really cool. I felt like I was connected with my childhood again. Like, I got to see where my childhood began. So then we decide to take one of those like touristy tour buses that take you around. And honestly, I'm not a fan of those. The best part was that it had Wi-Fi, so I got to play Pokemon Go, and that my cousin took a nap while we were on it. It's just, I feel like you don't really get to see anything. Like, cool, the building's there, but what's the life? So it dropped us off at this sort of canal river thing where there's a lot of wineries and a lot of restaurants and whatnot. And so we had a wine tasting, and it's the only wine that I would like pass. I don't like wine, but it was like really fruity and really sweet, so I was like, okay, it's okay. You know, I could drink it, but it's not my thing. Then on our way back, we had to cross a bridge, and there were these kids standing on the bridge and jumping down, and like they were asking people for euros for like, you know, €1 for a jump, and people were just watching, and it was really fun. So then after having dinner, we headed back to Vigo, and I think my sleep wasn't corrected, but we were so tired that I actually slept finally. So the next day we decided to go to Santiago de Compostela and Coruña, which Santiago de Compostela is like this town where there's this like pilgrimage that happens that people do from France or from Portugal to Spain, and people walk or ride a bike or whatever to this point, and it's like a big cathedral. It's like this big, like all you do is like you look at the cathedral and then you walk around it. That was on the way to Coruña, which is another city. It's more of a city than Vigo, and that was probably my favorite place of the entire sort of week we were there. It felt more alive, it felt more city-like, it felt more young. We got to go to this sort of, I guess it's like a tower thing that like the Romans put up there in like the whatever century after Jesus was dead, and it had like these like rocks, and I think like it was like next to a beach, so it was really, really pretty. And then I was like, you know, I love climbing things. Like, if there's a rock that I can climb, I will try to get on it. If there's a tree that I can climb, I will try to get on it. So I took my phone. I didn't want to take my camera because I didn't want to drop it in case I fell. So I took my phone and I sat on these rocks and just watched the water. And to me, that's just the most fun part of traveling, is getting to sit down and look for a minute and see where you are. So the next day we went to this town called Pontevedra, which is on the way to this restaurant my cousin wanted to go to. So it was like a Sunday, and everything was closed and everyone was inside, so it was empty, and like there was really nothing really other than old buildings, and like not cute old buildings, but like really, really old buildings that have lost, I don't know, that are just not interesting to me anymore. So the only good part of it was that there was this like market, and I saw this dude that had like boxes and boxes of old vinyl records, and I was like, I'm gonna find something here. There's no way I'm not gonna find something. So I looked through, there was a lot of Beatles stuff, there was a lot of Doors and like old sort of 60s and 70s band, but I was sure I was gonna find something Morrissey, because I'm like, that's my new quest. Even though I haven't finished my Green Day or my Beatles collection, I'm like on the quest. I started my Morrissey / Smiths collection, so I was on the quest to find something, and I found Viva Hate from back in like 1988, pressed for Spain, and I'm so proud of it. It's like hanging like somewhere over there. I love it. It's not hanging, it's on a shelf. I'm not gonna ruin it. I can't wait to get home and like actually try to listen to it, because I'm so happy. And like they also had a New York Dolls ones, which, if you don't know, the New York Dolls are considered to be the starters of punk rock, and like I love that band, and I think they're amazing, and I would have gone both if I wasn't so cheap and broke at the same time. So I'm so happy with that find. That made that trip worth it, honestly. So then we went to after we left the Pontevedra, we went to this restaurant. It was by the water. They had a lot of fish, which is not good for me because I don't really like eating fish. So I had like very okay steak, Then the next couple of days we spent them chilling out inside, not really doing much because my mom was still not feeling too well, and then my cousin started not feeling too well. So we sort of decided to, you know, we walked around Vigo again a little bit and we did like a couple small stuff, but I didn't really film any of it because it wasn't as exciting, and I also ran out of space and battery on my camera, and I forgot to bring my charger with me. But that was my week. That was the sort of 7 days of 4 days of excitement, 3 days of chilling that we spent in Vigo. It was fun. I liked it. There was a couple things I would have liked to see. I know they have these islands that you can camp in that I would have loved to do, but my mom was like, fuck no, we're not, no. And they have like a hiking trail, and it really like caught my eye, so I would have loved to do that. And I also want to try and do the pilgrimage of Santiago. Of course, that's gonna take training. That's like 2 weeks of walking / bike riding, and I'm not gonna do it on my own. Maybe when my mom comes in like the summer or something, we can do it. But that was it. That was my week, and you know, then we went to Barcelona and the whole new adventure began. And so stay tuned for the next video where I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the 7 weeks prior to starting life, or the 7 weeks I spent with my mom here in Barcelona. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more. Make sure to like, subscribe, and all that other YouTube bullshit. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye! Because I hate talking about how I'm feeling. This is why. I'm not even that upset.